So we are currently in the warehouse of two of our students, Coby and Jude. You joined the Blueprint 12 months ago, and to say you've had a pretty incredible journey is probably a massive understatement. You joined us 12 months ago and you were doing 5 to 10K a month in revenue, but that was probably a bit of a stretch, and I'm sure you won't mind me saying you didn't really know what you were doing that much. You probably dabbled in FBA, saw the opportunity and ran with it, but you weren't really doing anything tangible. 12 months later, you've now got a warehouse, staff, a forklift, and yeah, we're sat in here now, and you've completely changed your lives around, quit your jobs. So yeah, just want to take it back and really just explain your journey, how you got into the space, where we came along, and then yeah, how you've sort of progressed to where you are now, what you're doing now, and then yeah, what plans you have for the future. So I think if you just take it back right to the start, how did you get into the space? And obviously you joined us when you were doing 10K a month, but prior to that, how did you get into the space? How long did it take you? What was it like? That kind of thing.
So when we first started Amazon, we literally just saw it on TikTok and it was just, Amazon FBA, good B&M, scan a packet of sweets. Yeah. Set them on Amazon and make 10 grand a month. So obviously that's what we first started doing. And we started doing wholesale pretty much straight away from the get-go. But looking back, we had no idea. We were just going to generic wholesalers. And we was doing like 5 to 10K a month, but we wasn't really profitable. Like, honestly, and this was non-VAT, our margin must have been like 10% or below. It was really poor.
And this was back in like the VAT exempt days where like non-VAT registered sellers should be making like 25% plus minimum. Yeah. And you guys are making like 10%. So.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, there's so many crucial bits that we just weren't even aware of that we wasn't doing until we hopped on a call with you guys and yeah, we started getting the ball rolling.
I remember the first call that we had where this was back in the early days when we first started the Blueprint really, and we got on the phone and you were telling me like about your business, about all your problems and stuff, and you guys were struggling and you were just chasing your tail every month. But you had found some success in a couple of products. So you had one really great product to start with, I think when we were on that first call, where you were profiting a lot and you saw a lot of potential with it, but then it just came crashing down. Yeah.
So when we was doing 5 to 10K a month, we obviously was very unprofitable and we was even making a loss. And so we found one product that we got from a wholesaler. We was buying it for 75p. We sell it for £4.99, and we made like £1.45 profit.
Yes, this was back when the small and light program was about as well. So like you were probably paying like £1.80 in fees or something like that.
Yeah, it was nothing in fees. So we ordered 19 boxes, and I think it was probably around 2,000 units, and we made literally like 2K in 1 month.
Profit.
Profit. Yeah, non-VAT. And obviously, we thought that for life, we're making 2.5 grand a month, like, you know.
Off the ground.
Yeah, so we thought that was it, like, our life was sorted. Turns out it wasn't. Quite literally, we couldn't get the product for a couple of months because there was a supply issue. And
so that's why you were able to profit then, because Amazon, what actually turns out that Amazon did sell on the listing for like $2.99 or something like that, or $1.99. And the only reason why you was able to make the profit is because you took the last 2 pallets of the stock from the brand and then you sold it for a higher price than it's actually worth. Made good money at the time, but then as soon as you tried to reorder it, Amazon came in and you actually probably got quite lucky then.
Yeah, we were very extremely lucky. Yeah. But I think that was our pivot point because we knew that there's opportunity there. Maybe that isn't the best situation to talk about, but because we knew there was opportunity there, it made us realize that there's a lot more in the space and how it actually can be profitable and be a long-term business. And that's when we stumbled across you guys.
100%. So when you came on board, obviously when you came on board with the Blueprint, you were doing 5 to 10K a month. What were the big things that actually made you sit back and think, wow, okay, like that's what I need to do and change? Because obviously you've changed something significant when you were doing 5 to 10K a month to go into 100K a month. Like you pretty much had to strip your business back to zero to then rebuild it. So what was the most, what was the most incremental things that you learned that actually allowed you to progress to where you are now?
I mean, there were so many different key factors. So like, obviously prior, the person who we bought a course of prior, we had no true, without knowing what I know now, you don't realize how little information we actually received. So like when we joined you guys, everything we sold was textbook wrong. So everything had to be sell out the door and restart again. So what we did at that point is we used some of the money that we had within the business and we started doing the little 1% that you talk about. So we actually made ourselves look like a professional, presentable business. And that's what we focused on, and how to look a lot more professional. So yeah, that was a key thing initially. And then there was several different things like, even just even price negotiating. Because we were obviously a lot younger then, and it's something that we never thought about or even considered is like how to price negotiate, how to position yourself well to price negotiate. What's a good listing? Because there's so...
It sounds super basic, but 99% of people just have no idea. And the scary thing is, like, they think they know, but they actually don't know. And this took me a long time to realize myself as well. I've been in the Amazon space for like 4.5, 5 years now. The first 2 years of my journey, I was doing exactly the same as you guys. Like, I wasn't even going brand direct. I was buying up wholesalers, making a little margin, but I was doing really well. And then just learn from my mistakes, really. So how long, obviously you guys had to pretty much strip the business back to zero. It was at 10K a month anyway, but you were doing very minimal profit.
Yeah.
How long does it take you to get back up to actually like scale? Like, talk us through like your journey of scaling from pretty much zero 12 months ago virtually to pretty much 100K a month right now. So 0 to 100K in 12 months. How did that look?
It was a tough journey because we had to strip everything back. We had to take, obviously, a lot of it is consistent and being persistent and implementing what you guys teach. But, we had to take a lot of risks along the journey. So we had to get things like, we had to get a unit, we had to leave our jobs, we had to buy...
But that was later on down the journey though.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so from the get-go, I think probably within, it was month 5, we hit 40 or 50K a month, around there.
Wow.
Like month 4 or 5, we hit 40, 50K a month. But the first probably 2-3 months was just a bit of a mess for us because things like phoning brands was so scary, and trying to position and pitch to a brand, it's something that you've got to kind of shake off your nerves and just get familiar doing. So yeah, we got to, after month 5, we got to like 30, then we got to around 50K a month. I left Jude left his job, first of all.
And I remember that conversation. So that was, you're right, like 4 or 5 months into your journey. And so in the Blueprint, we always have weekly Q&A calls where we catch up and you explain your progress and like we help you with bottlenecks and stuff. And I remember you jumping on the calls every week of like, we're growing, we've got this account open, we're getting this account open. You start to build your pipeline, start to really scale. And you're making significantly more from the Amazon business than you were your job.
Yeah.
Right? And you were both working, you were working in car sales, which was very similar to me, which I did. You were working as an electrician. So you were both working quite long hours and it's quite demanding jobs, right? Especially car sales, like it just consumes your life. So to scale from pretty much 0 to 50K a month within pretty much 4, 5, 6 months is pretty incredible. But you guys were very hesitant to quit your jobs. You guys were very hesitant, even though you were making considerably more money. And realistically, you didn't have that much overhead either, like in terms of like living expenses, business expenses, anything like that. We really had to push you to think about it and make the decision. But you were so hesitant in making that decision. And as soon as you made the decision, you was like I remember 2-3 weeks later, you was like, why have I not done this sooner?
It was the best decision. It's taken that kind of leap of faith, because when you've got a job, no matter what kind of job it is, being in car sales, it was something of, something I could hold on to for a little while, and having that sense of security of exactly just guarantee. It's that guarantee.
Well, when you're young and you're making probably, similar to what, maybe £3,000 to £5,000 a month, when you're 18, 19 years old, actually coming out of that job and leaving that job is quite a significant thing. Even though you were making more money from Amazon, it's actually just a big commitment. But you made the jump first, and I would say 6 to 8 weeks later, you just was like, chuck the towel in as well. You were like, I'm done.
The worst, so as well, once we hit 50K a month, we started getting more cash in the business, so our cash flow improved. And when Jude obviously left and was in the business full time, we had so many more products. Because you got to remember, we was working 9 to 5 and maybe then like 9 to 6, 7 o'clock normal job, that we had so little time to then having so much time. We was able to raise funds, we was able to do so many different things, which is obviously a really key factor, that we was able to scale crazy. So the weird thing for me is because I was an apprentice electrician.
Yeah.
Everybody obviously in my family was like, get your qualification. I was in there for like 3 years prior, and I probably had half a year left. And they was like, get your qualification. It's important. It's your fallback. And I kind of saw the opportunity in Amazon, and I saw how much impact it had just Jude being in the business full time, that I was like, right, I need to leave. I need to focus on this. Yeah. And I feel like I can really grow the business. And since then, we've been able to double that in relatively short time. And yeah, I mean, once you kind of get past 50K a month, and also before 50K a month, cash flow and raising funds and finance is definitely a difficult part, and it's something that you've got to be able to do and know how to do. So yeah, once we was able to raise funds, and able to scale.
I think it's an essential part of any Amazon business, and that's what nobody talks about in this space as well. Yeah, everybody talks about raising funds, actually building a pipeline of products, and scaling, because it's, unless you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds liquid cash just sitting around, which 95% of people don't, probably 99% of people don't, it is going to be hard to scale to hundreds and hundreds of thousands, if not millions per month. So you've got to raise funds at some point. But taking it back, so 4 to 5 months in, you quit your job. Probably 6 to 8 weeks later, you quit yours. And that was probably, it was like it was for me, just an incremental part of growing. So taking that to where you are now, so 4 to 5 months in, you were at 40, 50K a month. Right now, tell us where you're at. Tell us what your operation looks like. Bearing in mind, this is literally 12 months ago. Yeah. You were both working 9 to 5 jobs. You were doing 5 to 10K a month in revenue, making no profit. And 12 months later, we are currently sat in your warehouse. Yep. You are doing 100K a month in sales, on track to hit probably multiple 6 figures per month by the end of the year.
100%.
And you have staff, you have these commercial premises, you have no full-time job apart from this. Tell us what it looks like.
I mean, sometimes I look back on it and I think how kind of crazy it is. Even just stuff like a business sign. Yeah, we've got a massive business sign out the front, which there's so many little things, and just having this premises is like, it's weird to think that 12 months ago, I was, apprentice on like £8 an hour, because that's what you get paid, sadly. Yeah. And then like now we've got, we've got a team of 5 technically. So we've got me, Jude, and then we've got 3 preppers who work for us. Yeah. So the change is actually pretty crazy. Things like we bought a forklift, we bought ourselves a car, we bought ourselves a nice car. We're self-sustainable. Like, say, for example, last month, we was able to pay the bills and everybody, and we still had enough money to keep growing the business, which really crazy in all fairness. But, I mean, we're now at the stage where we're doing 6 figures a month, and we've got quite a few really good key accounts that I think we can definitely scale and grow our business. I honestly reckon by the summer we could be hitting the 200K a month mark.
I absolutely don't disagree. Like, I think you could, by the end of the year, I think you could achieve way bigger numbers than that. Like, just taking it back to context for me, like back end of, start of last year, we were doing like the bottom end of 6 figures per month. Yeah. And I remember saying on the community calls to all you guys, because like, I think the good thing about the Blueprint is like, we are actually doing this ourselves as well. Like, I am actively in the trenches doing it myself. And I remember saying to you guys, when we had like only a couple of members inside the Blueprint, you were one of the early adopters. I was saying on the calls, like 500K a month is my goal for the end of the year, and I'm going to hit it. And I used to say on like every weekly call, and I'm sure you guys remember. And by the end of the year, we hit it, right? So there's no reason why, you guys cannot do the same. Like, you guys have the potential to do millions per month. Yeah. Like, I genuinely say that within the next couple of years, like millions per month. And yeah, it's just pretty incredible what you've actually managed to achieve in such a short period of time. So what has the experience been like throughout the Blueprint? Like, completely honestly, what has it been like the full process?
So when I, obviously, because I kind of felt like I got burnt by my old mentors, I was quite optimistic about jumping into a new one. But I also saw the opportunity, and I was kind of at your guys' early days, so I didn't see somebody with 50,000 followers that's selling a course. I saw someone smaller, so I had a little bit more trust in you guys. And when I spoke to you on the phone, you just seemed like a normal, genuine, down-to-earth person. It felt like I was speaking to a mate. So I had a lot more trust straight away from the get-go. And then the fact that I was trying to talk about this product really vaguely, but try and give you a rough idea. And you was like, yeah, it's this product, that one. And I was like, yeah, like the fact that you knew that to the T from just what I was saying, and I was being vague.
it was a pretty generic brand. I'm sure a lot of people watching will definitely know what it is. You will have definitely seen it on Amazon before, but unfortunately, it's not profitable. But yeah, like what's your favorite bit about the blueprint? Like what is the, like, obviously the way it's structured is you have the full pre-recorded program, but you also have like the live coaching element. Me personally, I think those are invaluable. But you guys have definitely turned up every week, and I think you guys have got a lot of value.
I think it kind of changes because there's a lot of different sectors of value. So like when you first join, nobody can find products. So when we first joined, the value was, finding out how to find the right products and just being like, on the weekly calls, because we have 2 weekly calls, being able to speak to him, like, Jack, we had this brand say this, what would you say? And that was really good. But then when you start scaling more, it's like raising finance, and when you get past 50K a month, cash gets tighter, and you've got staff, and you've got a lot more bills. But I would probably say it's more knowing what you don't know, which I know sounds really stupid, but there's a lot of like key, small, really important bits to the business that if you don't know or you're not able to work out, you're really going to struggle. And I think to be able to think of all of that, you need a lot of time and effort. And for us, it just really helped us. It really helped us, scale.
Well, that's exactly why I created the program, right? Because like to go from 0 to pretty much over 500K in a month took me 4.5 years. But if I had the knowledge that I know now and I was restarting again, I genuinely think that it would take me 18 months. Like genuinely 18 months. And you guys are a testament to that. We've got a couple of the students doing pretty similar numbers to you guys, but 0 to 100K a month within 12 months is definitely achievable. And I think from month 12 to month 24, you guys could be hitting, you guys need to set your goals even higher. I think 200K a month is light work for you guys, surely.
I think that it's more the fact that we're doing, at the moment, so because we have stock in and stock outs, we could easily already do over 100K a month, but we're just struggling in maintaining everything at once because we had, supply issues, or sometimes it takes longer for stock to come in or stock to go out, or, a lot of different variable factors that just off the accounts we've got now, we could, and who we're already selling products on Amazon for, we could easily do 200K a month. And, I think we could, by the end of the year, I reckon we could consistently do 300K a month non-seasonal. And then Christmas comes in, I want to try and hit that 500,000 a month because you was able to do it. So,
exactly.
It's crazy to think as well that the change as well. And I would say your first, 0 to 50K a month, there's a challenge, and 50 to 100K. But once you got to that 50K a month and then that 100K a month, you're just repeating the process. There's so much opportunity on Amazon.
Yeah.
There's so much, there's endless products that, there's so much opportunity.
Yeah, see, everybody, like, the main question that I get asked by everybody is Amazon saturated, right? And I give the same answer to every single person, is like, if you don't know what you're doing, 100% it's saturated.
Yeah.
If you look for the type of products that you guys were looking for at the start, the type of products that I started with, 1,000,000% is saturated. Everybody starts with the same kind of brands, wholesalers, products, all the low barrier to entry stuff that realistically is just not profitable. Yeah, okay, you can capture a couple of minutes of profit and that kind of thing, but realistically it's just not profitable. But if you actually know where to look, you know how to contact the right type of brands, you know how to actually understand barrier to entry, understanding how to position yourself as a business.
Yeah.
You can do millions and millions per month. Like, I went to a trade show in Nuremberg last week, which was filled with just different brands, different suppliers and that kind of thing. And it really opened my eyes to like how big the market is. Like, we are, like, when I'm speaking to some of my suppliers who are maybe a little bit bigger or have been in the game a lot longer than me, we get referred to as a very small fish of like, we're just sort of in the early phase of our journey, that kind of thing. And it's like, puts it in perspective of me of like, wow, okay, so like we're doing multi-millions per year, but there's people who are doing 20 million per year, 30 million per year, 40 million per year. And like, they've just been in the game longer and they understand how it works. So the opportunity is endless. So, I think for you guys to get to really even 7 figures per month is achievable within the next 18 to 24.
Yeah.
So what would you guys say your main bottlenecks were while scaling? And at what points did you experience those bottlenecks? Because I think a lot of people have the same bottlenecks, but they don't actually understand what the bottlenecks are. So like, what bottlenecks did you have, and what points of your journey did you experience them? Because ultimately, all businesses really is your ability to solve problems, right? Every level of, say for example, you're at 100K a month and you're stuck there, you have a bottleneck in your business, whether you know it or not, and your ability to actually identify that bottleneck and solve the problem is going to take you to the next level.
Yeah.
So business is all just about solving problems and basically removing the bottlenecks. So what do you think were the main bottlenecks for you? Even what do you think your bottlenecks are now?
I think when you initially start, your bottleneck is how you're presented as a company, how you can be taken seriously by brands, by how you initially approach them.
Agreed. Yeah.
And again, product sourcing, which now looking back on it, product sourcing is almost the easy part. It is probably the easiest part. Once you spent your couple months in the grind phase, contacting brands and stuff like that, and you get very familiar with it, you get a lot of accounts open. And then you kind of go to the price negotiation phase and trying to, achieve the best prices and different ways that you can position and angle yourself to add value to the company for them to actually truly want to do business with you. Once you've kind of nailed those three down, which you'll do within your first 6 months if you actually put your head down, and I think that's what we was able to do.
Yeah.
Then it's raising finance. Mm-hmm. Once you've got those kind of fundamentals down and you know what's within all those fundamentals, it's just raising finance. And that's our current issue now. And I remember when I first got on a call with you, you was like, yep, finding products isn't the hard part. It's raising money. And I thought, mate, I literally can't even find one product. What were you about? And now I'm here like, I need to raise.
So what I said to you right at the start is, before you came on board on the initial call, I was like, look, once you really understand how to product source, find the right type of product, contact the brands, negotiate with those brands, your only problem will be that you don't have enough cash.
Yeah.
And you was like sort of confused of like, shut up, mate. Like what are you talking about? Like, you're just trying to sell me the dream. But genuinely, that is your position now. Like, you guys are doing 100K a month, but talk to us about the pipeline that you've got of deals. Because like, I know every single time you jump on the weekly call, you're like, we just opened up another brand account this week. We just opened up another one. And it's like, you guys are building this big pipeline up of different brands, distributors all across the world that right now you don't have the cash flow to fund, but you are in the process of raising that finance. So like, how much do you have in the pipeline and how much revenue do you think that can generate? Like,
it's actually quite sad to think about in all honesty. Yeah. I'm literally talking to this company as we speak in America, and I've helped add value and I've helped sort out issues what they're having within Amazon. Mm-hmm. And I've got a meeting with them on Monday. Okay. And we're restricting the amount of Amazon sellers, and just that one brand, I probably reckon we could do maybe 20K revenue a month, and that's one brand. We got
that would like so talk to us about the margins on that as well. So this is one brand that you've got in your pipeline. You think it could add £20,000 a month in revenue as a VAT registered business. What would you actually make from that?
Well, so you want to go for like anything below 15% margin, you'll just leave yourself really thin. And there's a lot of products out there that you can achieve 15% margin. But, because we've been able to position ourselves really well with this other company, we're looking around. There's 3 different listings, but so we're looking between 17 and 23% margin.
Wow, okay.
And that's 20K rev a month. So, that's just one product.
So roughly £4,000 a month profit from one brand, pretty much one SKU.
Yeah. And
you're saying that they are aware you sell on Amazon, you're actually helping them build their presence on Amazon.
Yeah.
And you can take £20,000 a month in. That's £250,000 a year off one SKU.
Yeah. And the thing is as well, it's consistency. There's only going to be a certain amount of restricted sellers, and it's just going to be, us moving forward. So there's never that worry of, is someone going to come on and drop the price, and all these different issues, what is associated around Amazon, all of that's gone. So like, we've been able to get such a good deal like that across the line that we're able to build a really good foundation if we keep getting loads of these on.
Yeah, so I think one of the best bits about Brand Direct and like the way we actually approach things, because as you guys are probably aware, we approach things 99% different to 99% of people who do Amazon. Like, we have different strategies, and yes, it is harder, but it pays you dividends in the long term. Like, you can genuinely sell these brands for years and years. Yeah. And the main benefit about it is that, like what you're saying now, you've probably been working on this deal for a couple of months, and from start to finish, maybe it's taken you 2-3 months, lots of work, lots of Zoom calls, that kind of thing. But once you put all the hard work in up front, all you have to do is replenish that product on a monthly basis.
Yeah.
And you make pretty much £4,000 a month profit from sending an email, replenishing the products, and putting it through your packing and systemized process, and you make £4,000 a month. Yeah. Whereas when you do wholesale, and when people talk about buying from online arbitrage, A2A, these kind of things, is like, great, okay, you may be making 15%, 20% margin on these products, and you may be buy 1,000 of them, but you've got to find the deals next month. You're constantly chasing your tail. Trying to build overheads on something that's that inconsistent is super hard. Like, I'm a big believer in going wide and not narrow, in terms of like, you should have, if you're doing 100K a month, you should have really probably 50 to 100 SKUs and probably 10 to 30 brands that you work with to actually be able to build that overhead on. Because the last thing you want to do is go narrow, have 3 brands that you work with, do 100K a month in revenue, start building these teams, these staff, get in the commercial premises, and then, one day the brand says, sorry, Coby, you're not allowed to sell, right? Yeah. So when you build wide and not narrow, you get that consistency. And I think that's what you guys are achieving. So it does take longer, and it is arguably a lot harder work up front, but it creates an actual business, Okay, so just to conclude and wrap things up, what would you say your main problems were before you joined the Blueprint?
Yeah.
And what would you recommend to somebody in maybe your position, or somebody who's maybe just looking to start, or they may be starting their Amazon journey, but they're experiencing similar problems to you?
The journey I went on before you guys was a very rocky road, and I personally wouldn't like to see anybody else go down that path and try and figure things out that they didn't know how to figure out. And I think a lot of people, younger like myself, we have no idea about business.
Mm-hmm.
We're immature, sorry. A lot of us is immature in the game. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of things that we don't even understand. So
what issues were you actually having? You were having issues with sourcing profitable products was the main issue you was having. That is the main issue you was having at the start. As you scale, you're going to have more issues, but the issue you were having right at the start was actually finding profitable producs.
Yeah.
That is the issue you was having.
Yeah, literally just step one is actually finding products. There's so many different variables. So finding products, how to look at proper professional business, and how to, also raise finance, know the unknown. There's so many obvious and not obvious stuff that Jack's mentioned to me, and we've learned over the period that's really helped us scale. And another thing that I would say is, if you want to take something seriously, and you really want to grow, the best thing you can do is kind of just bite the bullet, cut out trying to do all the hardship yourself and trying to, chuck it all on your back. Look at somebody and invest into somebody who can help you grow. We was able to grow to, we're doing six figures a month now. We was able to grow to a 7-figure company. Yeah, obviously, we was able to do six figures a month, and we're currently doing, tipping over 6 figures a month, mm-hmm. and we've got a lot of room to grow. That we're on our second year now, that we're going to turn over, 7 figures, which is pretty crazy. And if you want to, take this seriously, definitely look at investing in somebody that can help you skip the journey and get to where you want to be a lot faster.
I 100% agree. I'm a big believer in you can either pay with your time or you can pay with money.
Yeah.
That is it. And I paid with my time, unfortunately. I did pay with money as well, but I invested in a lot of bad courses and like mediocre courses, right? But I spent 4.5, 5 years actually making all these mistakes myself. So I completely agree. So thank you very much for having us down at the warehouse. It's been good to have a look. And we're sure we'll be back when you're in your next warehouse.
Hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Not hopefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.